Let's start. The love of football. Where did it all begin and where did it all come from?
Probably just where I grew up in Jobestown and Tallaght. We were a family that probably like the majority of people didn't have a lot but felt like we had everything, and the cheapest thing to do was have a ball and put your jumper down and play football, and that's what we did from morning to night, and very quickly you learn that you're okay at this sport, and then you just fall in love with it and play every minute of every day with a ball. I never went anywhere without a ball when I was young, and that's where the love grew, and yeah, I've loved it ever since.
Well, it obviously paid off because you were so young, so in demand. Did Alex Ferguson come to your house? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it got to a point where there was a lot of managers obviously ringing the phone and coming to the door to Jobestown, and then Alex Ferguson came to the door, and I didn't quite understand at the time how big of a deal it was, but you do as years go on. He's probably one of the greatest managers of all time, so for him to show up at your door was pretty special, and brought the family out for a meal and had a really nice time with him, and he's a really nice man, and gave me great advice for many years. So yeah, he showed up, and like I said, back then you're just a sort of 14-year-old kid. You don't really realise the significance of that, but as you get older you think that was pretty big.
I can't even imagine the prep going on in your house when Alex Ferguson's coming, or the tea, or what do you give Alex Ferguson to eat?
My mum was the type, she wouldn't have cared who was coming to the house, to be honest. It was everybody was treated the same. He comes from a working class background in Glasgow, the Mines, Aberdeen, and so he's yeah, it was no issues there.
You were a Chelsea fan and you got to play youth football with them. That must have been very special.
Yeah, it was. They were the first team to ask me to go over when I was 10 years of age, and I was a Chelsea fan, so it was pretty strange. Again, when you think back, I would have went on a plane on my own. I just turned 11 and got out of Heathrow Airport and didn't know anybody, hadn't met anybody, and there's a guy standing there with a Chelsea crest and my name, and but a brilliant experience. Was over and back from Chelsea then for a few years, which was quite common for a lot of kids, and but it was nice because I was a fan of Chelsea.
Could you imagine sending one of your own kids at 10 over to Heathrow now?
No, we speak about that now at home, and we always come to the conclusion that my mother mustn't have liked me very much. She was trying to get rid of me from a young age, but no, look, Josh is 11 years of age now, and there's not a hope that we'd let him go on a plane on his own to Heathrow Airport, but I suppose you're looking back, it was all part of me growing, and that's just how it was back then. You were trusted to go and do it, and yeah, a bit crazy, but it was enjoyable.
Different world, but you signed with Arsenal, so why Arsenal?
Why Arsenal? Because the people who were there were really, really nice people, really special. Arsenal was one of the biggest clubs in European football, but it felt like a really small club. It felt like a family club. And I really liked that. I liked that everybody was together, everyone knew each other. Like I said, for such a big club, it felt really small. Liam Brady was a big factor in me going to Arsenal. Liam's a brilliant man, one of Ireland's best ever players, and when you go to London, regardless of what club you go to, everybody talks about Liam Brady. And when I was at Arsenal, I was at Arsenal at the time of the Invincible team. They were a special team, Bergkamp and Henry and Vieira, and to see the respect every one of them had for Liam Brady was incredible. You knew how they held him every day. Nobody would come and have their dinner without going and shaking Liam's hand and speaking to Liam, and I think he just had that aura about him. Liam, he was special, and like I said, he was a big part. He understood what it took for an Irish kid to go from Ireland to London, and not only succeed on the pitch but also, more importantly, he understood that. So he was a big part in me going to Arsenal.
Now, I believe your mum, she played a big part in your contract negotiations. She was a good one to have at your side.
Yeah, she was a typical Irish mammy. She didn't think it was right for her son. She didn't care who she was speaking to, and she would have told a few people that in high positions in these Premier League clubs. Like I said, she backed down to nobody, Her number one priority was me, and like I said, typical Irish mammy, and she was first in our negotiations for me, and again, probably didn't understand how special that was at the time, but now when you see some of the antics that some of the agents get up to, you realise how special that was, and I really like seeing that now with players, especially young players, how involved their families are, and how much they listen to the families. I really like seeing that, because it's so important, and the families are there for the kid, not for anything other than their kid, and that's special, and my mum was that, so yeah, special woman.
Definitely. And you were captain of the reserves, the Invincibles. They were winning everything. It looked like everything was going great, or was it?
No, from the outside it probably looked like that. Like you said, you're progressing, you become captain of the reserves. At the time you think that's a progression, but then you realise they're only doing that to keep you happy. So from the outside it probably looked like I was progressing in the right direction, but if we're being honest, I'd stopped working at the game and stopped putting the dedication that this game demands if you want to play at any club, but at a club like Arsenal. And by the time you realise that, it passed you by, and there's other players in the door in the building to replace you. Football's a ruthless game, and especially at the high level of Arsenal. So I think it's really important that you accept that and understand that, and take responsibility for that, and not hide behind. Too many people have too many stories that they try and hide behind and try and blame people for their failings, and I think it's important you own that. And me not progressing at Arsenal was a lot down to my choices and my decisions and my dedication to the game late on, and yeah, it takes a lot to come to terms with that, but I think I'm very comfortable with that now.
Yeah, it does take a lot to come to terms with that. Do you look back with regrets now then, if you've come to terms with it?
No regrets. I think regrets is when you haven't processed what's gone on in your life. I think once you process and you understand, you learn to live with it and move on quickly. And like I said, I got stabbed and nearly died. But again, if you're being truthful, I'd probably use that as an excuse for a year or two. But when you're being truthful, you look back, I'd stopped working long before that. So
yeah, you brought up the attack there. Was that late 2003? Talk us through, Stephen, for anyone that doesn't know that, what happened that night. Yeah,
I was out for a meal with some friends off the team. Came home to my house. House got broken into. Gun was put to my head, and I got stabbed in the head. So that was the last I remembered, and then I woke up in hospital and surgery, obviously just after surgery. Sorry, and my mum and my wife, it was my girlfriend then, was there, and they told me, the surgeon told us how lucky I was to actually be waking up. So that obviously shook me quite a bit, which it would anybody, and you become angry and all the emotions that you would expect at that moment in time. But like I said, I've been very lucky from a young age to learn to speak and to people and privately and process what's gone on and understand my feelings and why things happen, and then allows you to move on.
Yeah, like how does something like what happened to you shape you?
It definitely shapes me, because I made wrong decisions at that time, which it wasn't my fault. I got stabbed, obviously. It's nobody's fault when you get stabbed, but the life choices I was making to that point weren't helping, and you have a decision to make. You either feel sorry for yourself for the rest of your life and go down the wrong road, or you can help. You can make that shape you and help shape what you become and who you are as a person and as a manager. And I think from that moment on, I remember sitting with my mum and saying I want to be the youngest coach in the league, and I knew I wasn't going to fulfill my potential as a player for different reasons. So I still had a few years to play, but my focus was on being a young manager and a young coach then, and the reason was so I felt I could stop young people making the same mistakes that I made, and also to try and help people that are a little bit lost in the game. The game can chew you up very quickly, and people can get broken very quickly, but it doesn't mean you can't fix them and help them. So I really enjoy that part of the game, seeing people come good again and find themselves and enjoy life and enjoy football, and I think that's special.
I was actually just going to ask you that after that happened, you did play for a while, you did come home then and play, but was that when you were like, no, I want to be a coach now?
Yeah, that's when I started taking real notes of what I'd learned at Arsenal. The education I had was one of the best, when you look back, one of the best I could have hoped for, in that environment around world-class people. So I started taking notes on that, and then every training session, every manager, every coach I would have came across, I started taking notes. I would have watched so much football, analysed every game. Some of it, I look back now, I still have the notes. Some of it was nonsense, but some of it was really good. And but all that helps you become what you are. So it was from that moment. I remember my mum saying to me, "You're still very young, play the game." And I did okay. Was okay as a footballer, and won some things. But my mind was always on the next step.
So you get your break at Shamrock Rovers. Did you feel under pressure taking that job?
Yeah, of course. You're 30 years of age, given an opportunity to manage the biggest club in the country. It doesn't happen very often. The club was in a difficult place at that moment of time, both on and off the pitch. We weren't competing for anything. Cork and Dundalk were miles out in front of us. We were 4th, 5th in the league most years. We weren't doing anything in Europe. Average attendance was 600. There was a lot of work to be done, and I was working in the academy, which I was really enjoying at the time. But when I presented to the board and what I felt needed to change within the club, they said, "Well, you're the one to do it," and maybe called me bluff a bit. But it's what I always wanted, and I knew if I didn't take it, it might never come again. And there's no point in building up to a point and then turning away from it. And you're never quite ready. I don't think you're ever quite ready for any sort of big change like that. But for me, you just got to face it and walk into it and embrace it and enjoy it and make mistakes and learn and become better. And we've done that really well.
Oh, you certainly have. Like 4 in a row, Stephen. What did that in particular mean to you?
Yeah, it is special. It was the goal from the first day, and the reason it was because I knew how the 80s team here are so highly regarded around Irish football, around Shamrock Rovers. I see how they're treated today, and I wanted to do that. I felt we could do it. That had to be the aim. We wanted to see at the top table with them, and to do that was going to take a lot of work. We've done it, but the really pleasing bit is that it's done, it's gone, and it's about the next challenge now, and we have to keep pushing the boundaries and the standards for this club and this league, and that's what we try and do on a daily basis.
Like obviously things were and still are going great at Shamrock Rovers with you, but then you get that devastating news with Josh and the cancer. Like when you're sitting there as a dad and hearing that news, well, like what's going through your head, Stephen?
Right at that moment, there's nothing going through your head. You're just so angry and so hurt and so fearful for what Josh is going to face. Where myself and my wife are obviously getting that news, like we're sitting here and the doctor gives you exactly like that, and it's the worst, well, up there with the worst news you can receive, that your kid, any kid is sick. Every parent worries. It doesn't matter if it's a cold, a flu, you're worried. And when you're told it's cancer, it multiplies obviously, and your world stops. And but very quickly you have to understand that we have no time to mope or wait around. Or you have your days. You have your days where you're driving the car and you just cry. You're talking to each other and you're crying, and that's quite normal. But you have to be ready for the next challenge, for the next day, for the next hour, because Josh is the one going through it, not us. We can't. If he's feeling good, was feeling good, sorry, or he having a bad day, or he had no energy, or he was sick, or we were back in hospital. Well, that's where we all were at that moment in time, because, like I said, he was the one going through it, not us. So we had to check ourselves and understand, right, this is the hand we've been dealt. There's no point in asking why us, or be angry about it. This is what's happened, and we need to face it as best we can, and we did that. And only when you're in the hospital on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, you actually understand that we're one of the lucky ones. There's kids and families that we've met along the journey that won't ring the bell and won't come out the other side and have tumours in places that can't be operated on. And so you very quickly understand that, yes, we're in a difficult place, but we're very, very lucky, because there's unfortunately there's families and kids up and down the country that are in a much worse place, and it's so sad to see and so hard to see it. But look, that's part of the reason why we couldn't sit there and mope around and feel sorry for ourselves. You can't do that.
Yeah, and that is tough to not do that. Like, how do you lead a team when your heart is breaking?
They led me, if I'm being honest. They led me, you know. This team's special people. They're special people, they really are. On the pitch, what they do, they're the best in the country. They have been for a long time. But when something so drastic happens, you really see what people are made of, and these are a special group of men, and you'll be forever grateful to them for that. There was days that I've come from the hospital, slept there, and come straight from there to training, and you try and leave everything at the front door, because this is our place of work, and if I can't give everything to the players and to the staff and to the club, well, then I need to step away, and that's really important. When you're here, you give whatever you have. But there was days that I was low, and the players and the staff were incredible, how they helped me through it. And then it becomes normal. Your daily visits, your sleeps in the hospital becomes normalised, and it's only now that we're over that you realise how heavy it was and how difficult it was. But yes, it's my job to lead the players and the staff and the club, but I think it goes both ways. I think the fans and the club, and more importantly, these players and the staff helped me and helped lead me. So it worked both ways, and we have a special bond that will never be broken.
Never. And it's such a difficult journey. What was the hardest part to deal with?
When obviously the day we found out was extremely difficult. But seeing Josh at his lowest and at his sickest was extremely difficult to accept and understand, and at that moment in time, because like I said, when you're in it, you get to see kids sick on a day, really sick on a daily basis, and it's heartbreaking. And that was hard to see. That was hard to, as a parent, when you know your job, as any parent will tell you, your number one job and priority is to try and guide your kids and protect them. And when you feel like you can't do that you're a little bit helpless in that regard, it really hurts. It really, really hurts. So that was difficult when Josh was having difficult days and difficult moments, for us to accept that. There was nothing we could do in that moment in time other than be there, and it took quite some time to get used to that.
Yeah, and I suppose you would have had quite a bit of travel as well, Stephen. That must have been hard to be away.
It was at the very start. I remember the first trip was ludicrous away after we found out Josh was sick, and my wife said it's important you go. And I remember ringing her the day of the game, just crying, saying I just don't want to be here. You know, I felt I was in the wrong place. Very rare do I feel like that, especially with football, because it's a brilliant escape, and it gives so much joy to you and relief to so many people. I'm very privileged and lucky to be in this job, so very rare do you feel like that. But that day, I wanted to be anywhere other than in Bulgaria preparing for a game. So that was very difficult at the start. But again, as you do more, it becomes more normal. And again, there was still moments where Josh was sick and you're travelling to games, and that was difficult. But you understood it was we were working towards giving Josh special moments, like lifting the league and being there for European nights. I remember Josh going down for treatment and leaving him on a operating table, and just before they knock him out, the surgeons around him and the doctors around him were laughing because he's asking, can he go to the game that night or the next night? So for me, that really hit home that he's going in for theatre and he's asking about the game that night or the game the next day. So it really hit home how much of a target that was for him to get to them games, and a relief for him, and took his mind off being sick for 90 minutes. Win, lose or draw, took his mind off it. And when you understand that's the relief that I gave him, well then, again, I've nothing to moan about or feel sorry about. This was my job, and I was going to do the best I could to get him them moments.
And then you had, let's talk about that special day. He gets the all clear last year. He's ringing that bell, the end of his treatment. Like, I remember watching the video and I was so emotional. How's his dad feeling watching him ring that bell?
Yeah, like everyone else, really emotional. Josh, funny, he wasn't shown too much emotion until that moment. We'd been in the hospital in the days previous, and they speak about what the exit plan looks like and the checkups, what they will look like, and Josh was fine. He was happy. He seen St. John's Ward as a happy place, which is really, really powerful. That he turned that into a happy place over 3 years, and really special that he was able to do that. He seen that's the place that made him better, and he used to go in there skipping and happy, and the nurses were incredible people. They really are incredible people. People that worked around them wards are special people, and the connection they have with each and every kid in there is incredible. So leading up to that moment, he was just happy, and then that day, it was like a relief for him. It was like when he rang the bell, it was like he just let go of everything, and when you see that from a kid, especially from your kid, it was so emotional, so special. We didn't know it was getting videoed, so then when the video was shown to us afterwards, I got really emotional, but he was fine to that moment, and then it was just like a release valve had been turned, and you could see the sort of weight being lifted off his shoulders, and that was special.
Oh, so special. Probably a moment you were just always waiting and hoping for.
Yeah, he was. Privately, we got my little diary to try and allow him to process his thoughts and to write things down, and we didn't know at the time that was such a big thing for him, and we seen it on that day, but he was thinking about that for a long time.
And afterwards, Stephen, there were so many special moments with you and Josh and the fans. That must have been just really, really special for you all.
Yeah, the fans have been incredible for me, but for Josh more importantly. See them moments of relief that they give him, and the moments of happiness that they gave him, and support. They don't understand what that did for him. They really don't. There was days where he was lying in Crumlin Hospital in isolation, and he's hearing his name being sung out on TV at games, and getting letters and presents in, and people making him things, and you don't understand what that means to him. The relief he got from that, and the smile he put on his face, and I genuinely can't thank them. That's from all around the country. The fans all around the country have been incredible, not just football people in general. And again, forever grateful for what they've given him, and the fans at this football club have helped me through losing my mum, and then going through a fight with Josh. And regardless whether we win, lose or draw in the future, that's something that will never be forgotten.
Never. I think they all and everybody actually celebrated Josh's news that time. What happened to him and what you went through and the journey you went through, has it changed your perspective on things at all?
Yeah, most definitely. If that doesn't change how you feel and see things, well then nothing will. And like I said, when you're in them wards on a daily basis and see what families and kids are going through, if that doesn't give you perspective, nothing will. So it's helped me become better in every aspect, definitely as a better manager, because at the end of everything, it's a game. and when we're in it, we all give everything to win. And that should never stop. The day you stop doing that, you're done. But it used to take me a week to get over losing the game. Now it takes me a day, because I understand what's really, really important.
And how is he doing, Stephen?
He's brilliant.
It's a good Christmas, I'd say.
He's incredible, yeah. He's just like any other kid. He goes boxing, hurling, gas, soccer. He's doing everything. He's back in school daily, which he doesn't like now, but he's great. Look, again, we're very, very lucky that we've been out there in the bell. He's able to go back to normal, and he's just like a normal 11-year-old kid now. So thankfully that's where we are.
And I'm sure he's looking forward to the new season. Of course, new season, defending champions, and no doubt, Stephen, you're as hungry as ever to be as successful, if not even more, this year.
Yeah, we have to be. You have to be. It's what we've won is nice at the moment. You have to enjoy it, but then you have to forget about it. And because we play Dundalk next week, and Dundalk aren't going to show up the talent and stand back in the Moirus and clap us on the back and say, well done lads for what you've done last year. That's not how football works. They're coming to take us like everyone else is coming to take us, and if we're not ready to show up every day and try and achieve again, well then we're wasting our time, and that won't be allowed at this team, at this club. If that's felt from any staff member or any player, you don't belong at this club. That's not what we do. And the time for real reflection and understanding what we've done or what we do is in 20, 30 years time. It's not for now. It's right now it's about, we need to keep raising the standards at this football club and this league, and we'll do everything possible to make that happen.
Obviously Dundalk, you mentioned there, the first game. What exactly are you expecting from them?
A tough game. I've watched a lot of the pre-season games. They've put together a really good squad, really nice mix about it. Kieran's a good manager, but I've heard one or two people speak about, will they be in a relegation fight? I don't see that whatsoever with them. I think they look very, very good. I think I'm sure they're quietly confident in what they have in the building, and they've got real threats. Both wingers are good, centre forward, really good player. Midfield, they've got a nice balance of youth and experience. They've signed a really good goalkeeper from Shelbourne. Dundalk are going to be a very, very good team this year.
A new director of football at the club. What have you made of Ronan's appointment?
Delighted. When Stephen leaving was a big blow for us. He was a big part of what we've done. I love him. We spent 10 years together every day. So he's a big loss for me personally and the club. But we have to respect Stephen's decision. And when we knew that was coming, it was really important we acted quickly. And it was really important we got the right people in the door that understood the club, and nothing better than bringing someone in who's captained your club to 4 in a row and being one of the most successful players ever at the club, understands the club inside out, gets the people around the club. He's educated in that side of things, which is really important as well. He doesn't want to be a coach or a manager. He wants to be part of an executive team, which again it will be a change, but it's a nice change. He's worked really hard since he's come in, and he's brought real energy to it, and I've no doubt he's going to be very, very good appointment by the board for the club going forward.
It's very busy around the club at the moment. Like, what's the latest on Michael Noonan?
Michael's he's doing really, really well, as we all know. He's a special kid, Michael, really is. Him and his family are so good to deal with off the pitch. He's so humble, so hard working. He's got a lot of interest from a lot of clubs around Europe, which is quite normal for someone of his ability. But the important thing is Michael will, like he always does, will take his time and be calm and make the right decision for Michael. And we're not in any rush he's not in any rush to make that happen. We know where Michael is going, and it's our job to make sure he's ready for that step. But he won't be rushing himself into any decision. Him and his family are really well clued into the game and understand what it looks like, and more importantly, they understand what they want from Michael going forward. So he's great to work with, and And when the time comes for Michael to move on, that time will come. When, I don't know.
And just getting back to you, just for the final few questions, you've achieved so much. What else do you want to achieve in management?
In management here or in management?
In management.
I want to manage at the highest level possible. I've made no secret about that, and that will never change. I believe I can do that. Time will tell whether that can be achieved, but I've no doubt that we can do that, and I can do that. So that's the big goal. But right now it's about improving every day, and my job is to try and take this team forward and this club forward, and lead that and keep pushing the club to be better every day. And that's what we're doing on a daily basis. But like I said, I've made no secret that I want to manage at the highest level. I won't be rushed into that. I won't make any silly decisions on that path and on that journey. But that is the end goal.
The end goal, would it be to manage Ireland, a club in the UK? What's the dream?
No, would any Irish manager in Irish football like to manage, or in football in general, like to manage the country? Of course you would. Heimer's in the job right now, and hopefully we go to the World Cup and everyone gets behind him, and he's in the playoff, which would have been his job, so well done to him, and everyone supports that. At some point down the line, is that something, of course, like I said. What I like to manage in the UK, it doesn't have to be the UK. I just want to, like I said, manage at the highest level, Champions League level. And the path to that, we understand what we want to do and how we want to do it. But like I said, I won't be jumping or making any silly decisions because people feel I have to. The days of me listening to other people's opinions are long gone. So it's yeah, like I said, the people in my circle understand what the plan is and how we can achieve that. But right now, I can focus on nothing else and making this team and Shamrock Rovers better.
Stephen, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks very
much. And
much.
best of luck with everything.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.